So what I'm going to do here is do complete summary review, and then I'm going to talk about today's scenes. I'm going to go over the translations for you in class so that if you follow along today, you pay attention, you can write your writing topic right now, you can copy in your notes, and as I move through the four passages I've chosen, you'll have a pretty good idea about the story and what's going on. So that's our goal right now, to understand this part of Macbeth. So first, what just happened? Okay, I know all of you've got the general story down. What just went down was the witches. Remember, Macbeth goes to their cave and demands that they tell him more about his future. Now, he demands to hear it from their masters themselves. So what they've done is they've cooked up some sort of soup, broth, brew stuff, and he drinks that stuff, and he has these visions, quote, apparitions, things he sees, and they speak to him in riddles. And he interprets those riddles in a certain way, and then he makes decisions that lead us to the climactic end of this play. I always like to say, how does Macbeth interpret them? So how do I interpret things? How do I see things? There was this popular show, was revised, called Twilight Zone. And there was this awesome episode in which a guy finds a lamp on the beach, with the magic genie in it, and he rubs the lamp, and this magical genie comes out and says, I'm gonna grant you 3 wishes. And so the man says, oh great, 3 wishes. I want to be famous. I want to be the most famous person in the world. I want to be the richest person in the world. And I should do something for everybody else, right? I want world peace. And the genie says, no problem. Poof, it's done. And he's like, woohoo! And he goes outside and he starts walking around. He realizes that there are no people. And he realizes there's no people on the whole planet, which makes him the most famous person. It definitely makes him the richest person, and there is definitely world peace. So how we choose to interpret things, or how those things can be interpreted. So did the genie know this? Well, heck yeah. Do the witches know this? Well, heck yeah. So do they do something evil, or do they just kind of tell him what he wants to hear? So before I move forward into what happens in today's scene, let's just do a quick review. What is the bubbling cauldron? What do they put in it, and what do they say? If you click on today's notes, it looks like this. Oops. And so in today's notes, I want you to notice that, first of all, oops, that's the wrong one. There we go. Cauldron ingredients. So I've split it up so you can see it more clearly than when you were looking at the Shakespeare. So please just take a minute and look at what the ingredients are. Look at the note. Notice they are all things that come from things that used to be alive and are now dead. For the most part, they're animal parts. Animal parts, blood. What do we have? We have a snake, a newt, frog, bat, dog, worm, lizard, owl. I know it's different pieces of them, right? And then we have a dragon scale. Remember dragon tales? They had the little magical dragon scale, and they went away to Dragonland. The tooth of a wolf. A witch's mummy. That's a voodoo doll. Where you make a doll the way that they look, and then you do things to it. So we can assume maybe it's like a voodoo doll of Macbeth. A shark stomach. The liver from a sinner. That's a person like me. I'm a sinner. I know there are other sinners out there. And so they took out my liver. The nose of somebody from Turkey. The lips of a prostitute. So that's right. It's a nose. It's some lips. And it's a finger, remember, from a birth-strangled babe. That means a baby that died in childbirth, either died when it was being born, or it was intentionally killed right after it was born. But it's a newborn baby's finger. Then they put in some baboon blood. That's monkey blood, for those of you who don't know what a baboon is. And then into the flames, they throw these two things. They throw the blood of a pig who ate her children, a sow, they call it. So a pig who ate her children, well, that's kind of that other reference to mothers who eat their children, and then you kill it, slit its throat, throw that blood into the flames, and then the sweat from a murderer's brow, right? So I'm killing it, I'm breaking out in a sweat, so we take a little bit of that sweat and we throw that into the fire. So I want you to remember witchcraft. Remember the Malleus Maleficarum, the hammer of the witches, and how the people of that time viewed witches. And like, who would think that anybody was going to cook that up and actually drink it, right? But that's what they thought. Oh, they put all these gross things together, and then it's somehow there's alchemy that occurs. Remember, alchemy is like chemistry, and then it's potion and it's magic. And the idea is Macbeth is going to go on a vision quest. So this idea that if I drink all this gross stuff, it's going to transform into something. So this is kind of like modern chemistry, modern medicine, this spiritual vision quest. What does he see? Well, he sees three things, and I have them on the left, and you should recognize that up there from the script that you're looking at, and there are images that I provided so you can have a better idea of what this would look like. So the first one is what I call helmet head. You see I'm pointing in the wrong direction. Helmet head. And helmet head says, watch your back around Macduff, right? Watch out for Macduff. Watch out, he's going to get you. The second one is a baby covered in blood who says, no one who is born from a woman can harm you. The third one is a young king. He's wearing a crown and he's holding a tree, and he says, Macbeth, you're going to be king until the trees, the forest walks up the hill to your castle, right? And so Macbeth interprets these. First, he goes, Macduff, no problem. I'm just going to have him killed. Done. Huh? No, nobody born of woman can harm me. Everybody's born from a woman, so I'm invincible. So why should I even worry about Macduff if I'm invincible? But you know what? I'm going to have him killed anyway. Until the forest walks up the hill, everybody knows trees can't walk, so I'm going to be king until I'm an old man. Because, nobody can harm me. I'm invincible. I'm going to grow old. I'm going to be a king until I'm an old man. But hold on. There's one thing that's super important to many men, and definitely to men at this time, and you know what that is? To be a father. And sorry, girls, because of the dominant patriarchy with the oppression of women, they want to have a son. And they want to have a son to carry on their name, to carry on their legacy. And in the case with Macbeth, he's really hoping that the royal lineage becomes the lineage of Macbeth, And so he needs to know, am I going to have kids? Am I going to have a son? Are they going to become royalty? Or is there going to be that effing Banquo? Remember, I challenged fate and I failed? Maybe I didn't. Maybe I succeeded. What do you say? Did I succeed or not? And the witches say, you know what, Macbeth, you don't want to ask about that. And he demands it. He says, a curse on you if you don't tell me. And they go, okay, show him. And what do they show? They show this infinite line of Banquo kings. Infinite line. And so what does Macbeth know? That he's not going to have a son. That he's not going to have children. But he says, you know what? That's all cool, because I'm freaking invincible, and I'm going to be king until I'm an old man. All I got to do is just take care of Macduff. So when he comes out, and he comes out of the cave, right? And he's all like hungover from tripping out hard on this stuff. His men come up and they go, hey, Macbeth, bad news. Macduff has fled Scotland to go to frickin' England, which is kind of our enemy. We're that stinking Malcolm. Remember, they think Malcolm killed his dad. And he's taken off. And so Macbeth goes, dang it. Okay, kill his family. Kill everybody related to him. Kill everything, burn it to the ground, right? So he orders the execution of the Macduff family. That's the writing topic. That's where we are right now. So imagine cut from Macbeth, all wigged out in the cave, and we cut to the home of the Macduff family. And who's here? but Macduff's wife, Mrs. Macduff, Lady Macduff, and she's hanging out with her son. It's implied that he has a large family, you know. There was no birth control then. There was no abortion then, so, you know, who knows? He could have 10, 12 kids. We don't really know. And because he's being boasted as this virile, manly man, you know, there's a pretty good chance it's a big family. But the wife is hanging out with one of his sons, and they're talking. And a guy comes in. His name is Ross. And if you look at the whole thing, it's listed right here. And Ross comes in to bring her some bad news. Bad news. Your husband ran out of Scotland to England. Okay? He didn't tell you, but I'm here to tell you he took off. And she goes, what? Like, why? Why did he have to leave? And Ross says, look, I'm sure there's a good reason. Just be patient and you'll find out. And she says, be patient? He didn't even take the time to come and tell me. His flight was madness. Like, what? Is he crazy? And Ross defends him. You know, it's like, oh, he's your husband. And he says, oh, you don't know. You don't know if it was because he was scared. It may be some, like, wisdom that you don't know anything about. And Lady Macduff, who you need to know right now, and especially girls out there, Lady Macduff, she's the shiz. She's the badass mom, woman. She's kind of like one of our female hero characters in all of Shakespeare. She says, wisdom? To leave his wife? To leave his babes? His mansion and his titles? In a place from whence himself does fly? He loves us not. All is the fear and nothing is the love. So she says, that's not what a father does. A father, if he loves his family, puts his family before everything else. You do not jeopardize your family. You do not put your patriotism or your job before your family. And what has he done? He has put Scotland before his family. He has gone to England to talk to this king, not thinking about the repercussions, not thinking about how he has now left his family unguarded. So Ross does this whole, you know, oh, be quiet, woman. You're just a woman. You know, your husband, he's noble, wise, judicious, and he knows best the fit of the seasons. You know, your husband knows best. And she turns to her son and she says, fathered he is, and yet he's fatherless. So the title of this one that, you know, I gave it is Deadbeat Dad. Anybody out there know what a deadbeat dad is? You ever heard this term? I can't see you or see you raising your hand, but I want you to think about it. It is. It's a legal term. In the American legal court, deadbeat dad is a real legal term. It means that the mother and father, the biological parents, are no longer together, and that the mother has sole responsibility for the child. And the court has demanded that the father pay child support, money, support that child, right? So when the father does not make the child support payments, when the father fails to support the child, the court refers to them as deadbeat dads, okay? Meaning they have fathered a child, right? They had sex and got a woman pregnant, but they are not fathering the child. They are not taking care of it or raising it. So in this case, that is what Lady Macduff calls her husband, a deadbeat dad, fathered, yet not a father. So at the end of this, we have this clear example that Lady Macduff kind of is pissed off, like feels her husband has let her down, and this guy Ross takes off. So Lady Macduff turns to her son and says, turns to the son and says, your dad's dead. Okay, your dad's dead. And again, if you click, there's a full bulleted summary with the link. It says, Sarah, your father's dead. And what will you do now? How will you live? So she says, your father's dead. You know, what are you going to do without a dad. And he says, my father's not dead. And she says, he is. He's dead to us. You know what I mean? He's dead to us. He's gone. Forget him. What are you going to do? What are you going to do now that you don't have a dad? And he comes back at her and says, whoa, but what are you going to do without a husband? And this is badass Lady Macduff, girls. She says, why, I can buy me 20 at any market. Dime a dozen. Husbands are easy to come by. They're a pain, I take care of the house, I take care of the kids, the cooking. The guy never even comes around. The son's a little bitter because, he's a boy and he's a man and he knows about the patriarchy, and he says, oh, then you'll buy him to sell again, meaning that you'll never hold on to one. But then he asked, and this is the part you're going to translate, was my father a traitor? In other words, he ran from Scotland. He is going to this, England, to this guy, and the boy wants to know, was my father a traitor? And the mom says, yeah, he was. And the boy says, well, what exactly is a traitor? And mom says, it's someone who swears and lies. You know what I mean by swear? I swear I will take care of this family. I will always be there for you. I will always protect you. I will always put this family before everything else. I swear to you. So Macduff is a traitor. And not a traitor to his country, but a traitor to his family. And because one of the themes here is that family blood lineage, that relationship we have, and where our loyalties lie, he is a traitor to his own blood. He is a traitor to his own descendants. And she says, everyone that does so is a traitor and must be hanged. Right? She wants to hang her husband. And the son says, who's going to hang? Who's going to hang him? And she says, the honest men. And here's the key one, everybody. The boy says, well, that's stupid. There are way more cheaters and liars and, people like that than there are honest men. So the cheaters and the liars could just hang all the honest men first. And the liars and swearers are fools. For there are liars and swearers, and now to beat the honest men and hang up them. So there is this feeling that even though we are good, even though we feel that the forces of good, the justice, and all these things will prevail, there's this feeling that then why is it not happening? Then doesn't it seem like all this other stuff is winning, right? Even my dad just ran away. Like, things are horrible. While they have had this conversation, and he says this, and she goes, oh, that's so adorable. Yeah. All of a sudden, high action, this messenger comes bursting into the house. He's out of breath. He's clearly been running. He's absolutely kind of freaking out. And he says, I am sorry. I know you don't know me. Okay, let me find the right spot. Get to the top. And it's there again. He says, I know you don't know me, you don't recognize me, but trust me, I am a trustworthy guy, and I'm telling you, something horrible is on its way here. Get your kids and run. Get out of here. I gotta go because they're right here. Please, just run. Get out of here. I warned you. So we have this sense that this messenger got word of this and has run out ahead to try to warn her. And Lady Macduff says, listen to this and see if it makes sense. She says, whither should I fly? I have done no harm. But I remember now, I am in this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable. To do good, sometime accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defense to say, I have done no harm? And this, by the way, is one of your readings for next week. So whither should I fly? Where am I going to go? Right? I'm going to scoop up all my kids. Where am I supposed to go? And she goes, well, and why should I be worried? I haven't hurt anybody. I'm a good person. I've always been a good person, but that's right. In the real world, people who do harm are often rewarded. Get that? Not only are they not punished, but it seems like these liars and these cheaters are being rewarded. They're winning, right? It seems like, wow, You could just go on national television in a presidential debate and just tell lies off the top of your head, right? And oh my God, people believe it and they're winning. And worse, to do good, sometime accounted dangerous folly. To do good is folly. If you don't know the word folly, it's a fancy word for foolish, stupid. To do good is stupid, and it's dangerous. What do you mean to do good is dangerous? Yeah, to do good and to help people, that's dangerous. You'll get burned, they'll take advantage of you. The good guy never wins, right? The good guy always comes in last. It's that other guy who's cheating and lying. He's the one who's always winning. And she says, why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defense? Now, don't think of it as a put down on women. Think about the time, even now, we're in a dominant patriarchy. And what do the men demand of their women? To be passive, to be quiet, to do as they're told. So she says, hey, I've always been quiet, I've always been passive, I've always done what I am told, so why should I be worried? And then she goes, hold it. That's not going to protect me. That's to just say, oh, I'm nice and I'm just going to be nice to everybody and so nobody's going to lie or cheat or hurt me. That's not going to work. You have to defend yourself. And so this is her statement. I remember now I am in this earthly world where to do harm is often laudable, to do good sometime accounted dangerous folly. Okay? So as she's talking, enter murderers. It's a general phrase, right? It means anybody that's got a knife and a mask and is going to kill people. And they come in, they go, hey, where's your husband? She goes, they're not here. And they say, well, he was a traitor, and here it is, my boy. He stands up for his dad. He jumps up and he goes, don't you trash talk my dad, you stupid loser. Long-haired, shag-haired. You stupid loser. And he grabs the little boy and stabs him and kills him in front of them all on stage. And as the boy falls to the ground bleeding, he shouts, he's killed me, run away. But Lady Macduff cannot run away, and her throat is cut on the stage. Okay? So, yes, the family is slaughtered. The last part is right here. So, after the slaughter, after they're killed, now where do we cut to? Think of the camera. And I'm going to show you this. Let's see where it is. That performance. Let me get the right one. I'm going to show you this. There we go. I have to change my things. I'm going to show you this because I want the visual as I finish this out today. And thank you for sticking with me. I'm almost done. Told you it would take a little bit, but please check this out. Just want to show you a little bit. This is that last scene. Here we go.
I doubt some danger does approach you nearly. Be not found here. Hence with your little ones. To fright you thus, methinks I am too savage. To do worse to you a fell cruelty which is too nigh your person. Heaven preserve you. I dare abide no longer.
Oh, whither should I fly? I have done no harm. But I remember now. I am in this earthly world, where to do harm is often laudable. To do good, sometime accounted dangerous folly. Why then, alas, do I put up that womanly defense, to say I have done no harm.
So if you're checking it out, she gives that little good and harm. Here come the murderers. I want you to notice how she stands up for her son. She protects him.
Where's your husband?
I hope in no place so unsunk.
Tow-shagged villain!
What? You, eh? Huh?
He has killed me, Mother. Run away, I pray you.
And so we have this image, and again, I'm sorry if it's a little gross for you, but it is that throat cut, the best of the cutthroats. And we see the blood again, and I want you to see that, the dagger slicing with the blood out, the blood lineage, and all these things coming together. So what do we cut to? Well, we cut to England, where Macduff is, talking with Malcolm. Now, I couldn't do this whole scene. It's actually a big old, long, interesting scene, but let me summarize it, and I put it up here in the top. So please check it out. If you watch the movie, it's a big, long discourse, but I'm going to summarize it very quickly for you. Macduff has gone to England to try to convince Malcolm to raise an army and come back and kick Macbeth's ass, right? To reclaim Scotland. But the problem is that, Malcolm doesn't trust anybody. Remember, the nearer in blood, the nearer bloody. He thinks anybody that coming there is just trying to trick him, and he thinks he's getting tricked into going back to Scotland where they can kill him. So Malcolm pretends like he's worse than Macbeth. I'm going to give you some examples. He says, I am horny all the time. I just want to have sex with all the women. I want to have sex with your daughters, your wives, your grandmothers. I don't care. That's all I care about continually. I'm going to take all the money from everybody, and then I'm going to make sure that all of you guys, I'm going to lie and set you against one another. So everybody's fighting. I'm going to take all your money. I'm going to have sex with all your women, and I don't even care. Woo! And so Macduff says, oh my God, we are so screwed. Scotland is screwed. You are worse. I'm leaving. Get away from me, you horrible thing. And as he's leaving, Malcolm goes, aha, that was a test. Fake out. I wanted to see whether you would keep trying to get me to go there. Now I know you're good and honest. Truth is, I have 200,000 soldiers, and we are preparing to march against Macbeth. As they have this conversation, and they're like, woohoo, right on, fist bump, let's go kick his butt. Ross. You remember Ross? He was that guy that was there saying, oh, your husband knows, trust him. Well, he has come to let Macduff know that his family was slaughtered. And although Macduff goes, hey, have you seen my family? How are they? Ross lies. He says, oh yeah, they were great the last time I saw them. Well, the reason he's there is to tell what happened. And he says, let not your ears despise my tongue forever, which shall possess them with the heaviest sound that ever yet they heard. Don't kill the messenger. Don't hate me for what I'm about to tell you. Your castle is surprised. Your wife and babes savagely slaughtered. To relate the matter, we're on the quarry of these murdered deer, to add the death of you. So your family was murdered. He wants to kill you too. Malcolm, the king, says, be comforted. Let's make medicine of our great revenge to cure this deadly grief. Let's get revenge. That'll make you feel better. And he says, I can't get revenge. He doesn't have any children. Revenge would be killing his children. And he doesn't have any children. I would rather die than you kill my children. And he can't believe it. Malcolm says, dispute it like a man. That means don't cry. Be tough. And Macduff says, I will, but you know what? I must also feel it like a man. Did heaven look on and would not take their part? How did God stand by and watch this happen? It's because of me. Because of me that they have all died. And so he says, bring thou this fiend of Scotland and myself within my sword's length, set him. If he escape, heaven forgive him too. The king goes, this tune goes manly. That's more manly. Yeah, go cut his head off. And so we end this scene with Macduff swearing personal vengeance against Macbeth. Personal vengeance. I don't care about anything. I'm dead man walking. I'm going to kill that guy. Right? So beware Macduff. Well, you probably didn't have to worry about him until, you slaughtered his whole family. Malcolm's got an army to come and kill you. You probably didn't have to worry about Malcolm until, you killed his dad. And then we know Fleance is out there. He's going to come back because, you killed his dad. So Macbeth has basically gone from a hero that everybody loves, and by killing all these people has created enemies faster than he can kill them. And because we only see these stories, it is assumed that he's pulling the same kind of stuff on everybody in Scotland. So by this point, everybody hates Macbeth. Some of them are afraid of him, so they just do what he says. but nobody is loyal to him. Nobody loves him. Nobody is going to support him. He has a very small faction of people that are benefiting from his rule, but by and large, everybody is feeling like rebellion. There are armies outside, there are people inside ready to go. Now, I don't want to draw, a very clear comparison between our current U.S. political climate, but it's really, you need to look at the story of Macbeth and the story of our current, presidential regime to see some of the similarities here by this point in this story. That is the end of my spiel. Thank you for sticking with me as I end this class. I put all that out there so that you can kind of understand this climactic ending. Next week, we are going to be doing audio slides from these sections. Please take the time to go back and get some of those done so you kind of know what's going on as we finish this out. Okay?